Natalie Cassidy, who was a bang-up, lovely girl, I've met her loads of times, and is now 42, has recently talked about being bullied at school by an older, now famous singer. And it turns out it was Paloma Faith, who was in the year above her. Paloma has since apologised for her behaviour. But do you think you could forgive a bully? I don't know if any of you have been bullied. Were any of you bullied at school or anything like that?
I was, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, this was back in... I went to the local comprehensive in 87. God, those are rings around this tree. Sorry, I just admitted that. I'm well old. It was between about the ages of 12 and 14. Yeah. Right at that very tender age, girls are navigating that minefield of being accepted by their peers. And unfortunately, you know, I was a bit square, a bit chubby. I spoke differently. And I was very much the target of 4 or 5 girls spending their day calling me names, humiliating me about my hair, what I was wearing, pulling the chair from underneath me as I sat down in class and making everyone laugh. This happened for a couple of years. And then in my 20s, I started circulating with one of the girls again in London, just because she happened to be in the same group. And she came up to me and she said to me, you know, Belinda, there's been something I want to get off my chest. I know I treated you badly at school and I've been thinking about it for so long and I am so sorry. And I can't tell you how much it's been weighing on my mind. And, you know, the weight just lifted off me. It was the most healthy, healing closure that it was admitted, acknowledged. And I think as you get older, especially when you have children, if you have been a bit of a bully when you were younger, you start to think of it in terms of what if that had been done to your child. So I can't encourage people enough if they think they might have targeted a child at school. Just ringing up and saying sorry means the world.
I must just say that we did reach out, in fairness, to Paloma Faith for a comment on this one, but we haven't heard back from her on it, but we did try about this one. I just tell you one story about bullying, which was one of my daughters was having issues very similar to yours at school. And I decided, I probably shouldn't have done it, but anyway, I did it. It was in 1996, to take her out of school that day and bring her into work with me. And in those days, I was on the Big Breakfast, on the bed on the Big Breakfast.
I love that show.
And my guest that day on the bed was Goldie Hawn, the wonderful, gorgeous Goldie Hawn. Yeah. And at the end of the interview, Goldie Hawn spotted my daughter in the corner of the room and she said, "Who's that lovely little girl?" And I said, "That's my daughter." And she said, "Why is she here? Isn't she at school?" I said, "Well, actually, she's being bullied, quite badly bullied." And Goldie Hawn came over and she spent a good 15, 20 minutes with her because her own daughter, Kate Hudson, who now very famous, obviously huge film star, was going through the same thing. And Goldie Hawn said something then that I hadn't heard before, which was, you have to think about the bully. You have to think, what must they be going through that the only way that they can make themselves feel okay about themselves is to be really, really horrible to you. And she said this to my daughter, and I could see my daughter's eyes kind of widening as she sort of listened, and the kindness and the empathy and the idea that, you know, for a bully to behave so horribly to you, they're probably going through something pretty awful themselves. Doesn't mean it's okay, but at least it means that it's not like they're very happy and having a marvellous life and you're having a horrible life being victimised by them. They're probably very unhappy, and that's why they're picking on you. And I thought she was so kind. I've always loved her ever since that moment. What a nice,
beautiful thing to do.
Lovely lady. Such a nice, understanding and charming. So beautiful, obviously, but so kind. Anyway, let's go to Kevin in Swansea. Hi, Kevin. You went through it as a child. I'm so sorry to hear.
I did, in school. From the age of 15 to 16.
Yes.
There was a gang of 3. And gave me quite a hard time, if you like. Yeah. Fast forward 20 years. I did 20 years mining. I'm a big bloke. I'm 6 foot, 16 stone. I'm 70 now, and I'm the same weight as I was then. Yeah. Out on a Friday night, after 20 years, down the pub with the boys. No alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. 2 blokes walked in, and I instantly recognised them. Straight away, anxiety straight. And they were sniggering and looking over and pointing and all that, you know. So I thought, turn my back on it now and forget about it. So the end of the night now, I left the pub, walking home, walking past the Chinese. The 2 of them came out. One of them started calling me names, and instantly back 20 years, you know. Yeah. So I thought, I'm not having that again. So the bigger one, the gang leader, if you like, pushed me against the wall.
What?
Well, that's what it was in those days, love. That's the way it was. They bullies, you know. And they're never in the area. They live about 12 miles away from where I live. The third one got killed in a car crash, drunk and disorderly.
But what did you do? So he pushed you against the wall, and what did you actually do? What was your response?
I said, leave it now. Leave it. That was a long time ago. Leave it. He went to headbutt me.
No way.
So I'm not proud of it, but I was chuffed at the time. This is back now, when I was in my 30s. So he went to hit me, went to headbutt me, sorry. And I'm a lump of a bloke after 15 years mining.
Yeah.
You know, you build a lot of muscle, you know.
Sure.
So he went to headbutt me. I pushed him back and I put him to sleep for 5 minutes.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to condone you, beating him up. But I mean, it would be ridiculous if I didn't say I totally get why you would have done that, especially as he went to headbutt you and it was in self-defence. But I mean, gosh, Kevin, Lord, it just showed that they hadn't changed. They hadn't learned anything. They got no wisdom, no nothing, no compassion after all those years. Thank you so much for the call. It's not like they asked him to forgive them. The exact opposite, really. Let's go to Samantha in Plymouth. Samantha, you've never forgotten your childhood bully.
Hello, Vanessa. No, never. There was just one particular girl when I was 11 years old. I always used to like to go out on my bike, ride around the block and things, and she would always be waiting around the corner to pick on me. Basically, I used to have my front teeth protruded. I had buck teeth, so she would call me like Bugs Bunny, Goofy, like Brer Rabbit, anything rabbit name just because of the buck teeth. And obviously I was very conscious of it. I got a brace later in life and straightened my teeth out, and that was fine. But I wouldn't wish her any harm. I'm not saying I'd like to retaliate, but I would just like her to know that she made that part of my childhood very miserable, because I loved my childhood. I enjoyed it. I loved the freedom of going out in the street, like playing car, playing football, doing all the sports. But this girl would always be loitering around the corner, and you just feel like you ruined a lovely part of my childhood. So I would find that hard to forgive. I'm a very forgiving person. If someone's only harmed me once or said a horrible thing, I think I'll let that slide. But it was a lot.
And tell me, did you ever tell your parents, Samantha? Did you ever say, there's this horrible girl that lies in wait for me and makes my life a misery? Can you come and sort her out? You didn't think of getting anyone else involved?
Yes. I would say, like, oh, that girl's really awful who lives around there. And my mum used to say, oh, just ignore her. It wasn't such a big thing. People, I don't think they considered bullying such a massive thing if it was name calling. She never actually physically hit me. She threatened to. She always threatened to beat me up and say, oh, knock you off your bike, or I'll do this. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, and I'll just try and ride on, get around her, and she'd shake down the road. But I think parents didn't take things so seriously. They didn't listen to children. I had wonderful parents, but looking back, perhaps they didn't listen to me as much as what parents listen to children now. They used to
say, let them fight their own battles, didn't they? Let them battle it out. They'll sort it out. But obviously she was just waiting to torment you. I totally get why you wouldn't feel like being a best friend now if you ever bumped into her. If you did see her, do you think you'd say something, Samantha?
Yes, definitely. Yes, I would actually say to her, I would just like you to know I'm very happy with my life and I had a lovely childhood, but you did ruin a large part of it, and I hope you're pleased with yourself. Have a good life. Goodbye. I would just like her to know she had done that and leave her to think about it and ponder on that.
Well, if there's any justice in the world, Samantha, she'll be watching right now and she'll recognise your name and your accent, and she'll feel absolutely terrible for the rest of the day at least. Thank you so much for ringing. It's a big deal, isn't it? You just don't quite get over these things.
Yeah, I mean, I was bullied at school, and I moved around a lot growing up, so I was constantly the new girl and this kind of thing, which is challenging. And then I had a very different accent to everybody else because I didn't grow up in this country. I spoke very differently. So that anything that makes you different, and it was in the 80s. So yeah, I got bullied by a group of girls from the age of like 15 and on.
You're going to have to come back and tell us all about it another time.